So you had the actual first opening track on this project is it was the last one to get recorded,
Yeah,
right?
you say that, right?
Yeah, we already
We
had the
look
album
forward to
ready
it.
to go, you know, and then me and Rod kind of realized that we as a I guess tradition, I guess you would say, is when we put something together, we always got to have some sort of dope intro to an album. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you know, we did the on the healing tape. We had a nice little intro that people talk about still, and say they like the feel of that one. On the Requiem, we had a nice little intro. So I was just kind of like, you know, kicking it around, like, man, do we have room to add another joint for like a little intro? And I'm a big fan of you know, Premier, and I love how Premier, when he does his album stuff, he's always got that funky intro with like some sort of instrumental behind it, whether
right.
it's talking or somebody spitting something real quick. And I found this old beat that I did maybe two years ago. I think it was one of the first beats I made, and I just kind of listened to it, and I was like, that sounds a little different. You know what I'm saying? It's got a nice little jazzy vibe. So I went there and played with it a little bit and kind of cleaned it up some and sent that to you, and that became the Golden Age.
The golden age, the golden age, the golden age, the golden age.
When you heard that, man, what was you thinking when I sent that to you? It was like, you know, you think this sounds like an intro? What was your thoughts behind that?
Man, I thought it was crazy. I was like, whoa, this is the last track to sing. But it's funny just seeing it be the intro. But man, I just thought it sounded amazing sonically. Uh, Even the opening lines, how I go into
Mm-hmm,
it.
mm-hmm.
KO production, you know what I'm saying? It's a classic. So that was my thoughts, man. Hearing it, I was like, wow, this sound amazing, and you know, instantly made me want to write to it.
Yeah. And oh, and I don't want to do this. Shout out to my man Ryan. I'm saying Ryan. What's Ryan's last name? Ryan.
Cool,
There you go.
cool.
Yeah, Ryan did an amazing job of being the mix and master engineer on this project. You know what I'm saying? He killed it. We told him we wanted a warm sounding project, and after Ryan sent it into us, we listened to it, and then we sent it out to another respected figure in the game, you know what I'm saying, who has Grammys, you know, behind his name and worked with legends, and he was like, it's a go. It's dope, you know what I'm saying? So once we got that blessing and sign off, we knew it was dope. So shout out to you, Ryan, man. You did your thing on this, brother, and I can't wait to work with you in the future on some more stuff. That's one of Rod's plugs, man. Rod knows all the right people in the right places when it comes to that,
No doubt.
man. So yeah, man, the Golden Age intro for me, man. Like I said, it was one of the older beats I worked on initially. Initially it was just a 4 bar loop, honestly, like first piece. Well, after we adjusted it some, it was like a little 4 bar loop that I did with the little sample in there, and then I went in there and played with it a little bit, and then started adding some more instruments behind it, and then you recorded to it, and then it came back to me, and I was just like, man, it's missing a little something's missing somewhere. We gotta do something. So we extended out that intro a little bit because we wanted to kind of let it breathe a little bit before you got into your piece. And then at the very end, man, I was like, this sounds like it needs some cuts on it. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually the first, I guess we would say, published anything that I actually laid cuts on any track that I've done. You know, so I do it on the show all the time, but I've never done it on the actual track of mine. So it was kind of cool to do that and go through that process. And I think once you heard that, it kind of felt like it brought everything together, right?
Yeah, yeah, man. It gave it that element of hip hop.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
cut.
yeah. And then that's what it actually, and it's weird because we're using the intro track. This is actually the first official single or the other project that we dropped with the visual. And you shot you shot the visual, man, by yourself, right?
Yeah, so I got help by my brother, who's actually an artist too, go by the name of L4 Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, man, I pretty much just did all the editing to it, and we went to film it. We went to somewhere nearby, a location that it's nearby the house,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it was it from there.
Yeah, shout out to Lindo too, man. Lindo has been preaching to us about visuals because he's
Oh
heavy.
yeah,
He's heavy.
absolutely.
Lindo, man, dope artist. You need to check out for those who may not be familiar, man. He's a really dope artist up in
Yeah,
Canada, who his visual game is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we lean on him a lot for a lot of the visual stuff. So whenever he pushed me and Rob real heavy during the Requiem process about getting the visuals up and doing it, and he ain't been wrong since, man. It's like once you have a dope visual, people can connect to that track a little bit more and connect to that body of work a little bit more. And he hasn't lied since then, man. So shout out to you, Lindor, for that, brother, and thank you for the tough love and you know, the passion that you show for that, man, because it shows through your work. And I'm glad that, you know, Rod picked up on that too. And now Rod's developing that passion of wanting to do it himself and doing that, man. And we got some more joints we're going to film soon. And how did it feel for you, man, to actually kind of direct your own joint, you know what I'm saying? And kind of, you know, is it for you, is it easy to now to do it as because you kind of know the track because you wrote it. So when you're out there filming it, you kind of know where you want to go with that when you're filming it?
Yeah, man. What's dope about it is it's your vision. Because you want to, like, certain things you want to show that you see, maybe from certain lyrics that you implement in the track, and it's dope to be able to do that. And I feel like you know, I'm continuously getting better as you know, putting these, as the more I do these visuals, it's making me better, and I'm excited about that, because my thing is I never want to be the guy that just raps all the way to the video. I want to give people art. I want to make it abstract. I want to make it feel like a movie, like that you're getting experience. So, you know, truly making art. So, yeah, you know, shout out to Lynn, like you said, he definitely, you know, got me on the pace of like, hey man, do those visuals. So I'm really, you know, starting to see that aspect of it.
Well, what's your favorite part that you love about it so far? As far as is it filming it and editing? What's the thing that you love the most that you're developing?
I would say for the most part, man, I love just being able to really give people my vision of how I see it. So certain times you can shoot visuals, right? Because I've done visuals before, and it's not to say that the videographer isn't doing a good job, but it might necessarily be their vision. So like if y'all not in sync like that, it might not necessarily get put out the exact way that you may see it being put out. But when you're the mind behind it, you can actually orchestrate the vision as much as you can. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I love about it.
Yeah, you literally have to executive produce every aspect of your project, right? You gotta do the audio, you gotta do the visuals, you gotta do the content. So it's kind of like once you record the music and hear it back, you kind of start developing. If you don't do it as you're writing it, you kind of develop visually what you want to see and how you want people to see that. So it's always dope to see that, man. It's been fun putting together a lot of these promo vids too, going back and forth with you talking about that, man, and on that, man. So I can't wait to people see this one. It's the Golden Age intro. Rod did that. Like I said, shout out to Rod. He did all of that himself as far as shooting it and editing it and all that stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoy it visually. We'll have some more. We'll talk about it through the next few songs if we decide to do a visual for this one. But it is the Golden Age. It's out now. You know what I'm saying? You guys go peep that. And you know, Rod, it's on your Bandcamp page. You know, it's on djkawanmusic.com. And the Golden Age intro, if somebody's about to listen to it blindly, what would you tell them? What would you tell them the feel for it is? What's the message you would give for that? And I'm probably ask you that about every track, but you know, so be prepared for that. But just for the Golden Age intro, how would you explain that to somebody who never heard it before?
Well, I would just tell them, like, if they're familiar with that 90s time, that was my favorite era of hip hop. And pretty much what I did with this is, like we said, we used the time machine to go back into that 90s era and create that version of hip hop through my perspective, through my experiences, through my things that I experienced in life. And that's how we came up with the Golden Age.
The Golden Age. Hop into this realm, this a classic. KO production, everything sound fantastic. Step into the ring where a rapper get their ass whipped. You looking at the Builder 22, I got it mastered.